Hello, and thank you for watching. Today I'm seated in front of a picture of the newest Otis elevator. Otis is likely a name you recognize, and for good reason. Elijah Graves Otis invented the safety elevator, revolutionizing how we think about the height of buildings and how we get to the top floor. But long before Elijah's innovations, his second cousin, twice removed, Mercy Otis Warren, was making her own mark on American history as one of the Revolution's most significant writers. Mercy's story is both revolutionary and inspiring, and I'm here to explore her contributions, controversies, and why her legacy still matters today. Before the Revolution, Mercy Otis Warren was known primarily as a daughter and a wife in a prominent Massachusetts family. But behind her domestic life was a brilliant mind influenced by the political tensions of her era. Her biographer, Rosemarie Zagari, writes, "Observing the political process at close quarters, she followed her friends and relatives as they developed a logic of resistance." This first-hand exposure to the debates of her time helped Mercy find her voice as a writer and as a patriot. As tensions grew between the colonies and Britain, she began writing satirical plays that targeted British leaders and rallied support for the patriot cause, giving voice to colonial resistance. During the Revolution, she was much more than a silent supporter. Mercy wrote plays, poems, and essays that criticized British rule and prompted the ideas of freedom and independence. After the Revolution, she went on to write one of the first comprehensive histories of the war, the history of the rise, progress, and termination of the American Revolution, providing a unique perspective on America's founding. Is Mercy Otis Warren a true hero of the American Revolutionary period? If heroism is defined by courage, commitment to ideals, and leaving a legacy that endures, then absolutely. She used her intellect and writing skills to promote independence and, despite living in a time when women's voices were often sidelined, she became one of the Revolution's most outspoken supporters. Her work inspired many and added depth to the ideological foundations of the new nation. Are there any other women of the period who could have filled Mercy Otis Warren's role if she hadn't? It's hard to say. While other women like Abigail Adams were politically aware and influential, few had the literary drive and talent to shape public opinion as Mercy did. In many ways, she was unique, embodying a blend of intellect, patriotism, and literary prowess that stood out for her era. Why is it important to have a famous female figure from the American Revolution? Mercy Otis Warren's well-documented role contrasts sharply with other legendary women like Betsy Ross, whose story has been questioned over the years. Unlike the controversy surrounding Betsy's actual contributions, Mercy's work and influence are well recorded in a litany of sources. As historian Laurel Thatcher Ulrich wrote in her article, "How Betsy Ross Became Famous," quote, "For my part, I find Betsy's actual life less interesting than her afterlife. Her resurrection as a national heroine, even her name is a later simplification. Mercy Otis Warren may not be as widely remembered as Ross, but her direct impact on the Revolution and her legacy in American thought are no less significant." Mercy Otis Warren doesn't have the mythic status of a Betsy Ross, but in some ways that's an advantage. Myths can simplify and distort. The truth of Mercy's life is richer and more complex. She was a real intellectual force in a challenging era, and her contributions can be appreciated without needing embellishment. So, does the life of Mercy Otis Warren still hold relevance today? Absolutely. Her commitment to free thought and independent expression resonates with anyone who values intellectual courage. She was an early advocate for women's contributions to public discourse. Mercy Otis Warren's history of the rise, progress, and termination of the American Revolution didn't sit well with everyone, especially not John Adams. In a letter dated August 8, 1807, Adams wrote to Warren, quote, Miss Warren should have known more of the law of nations, the policy of governments, and the etiquette of courts before she hazarded assertions so dogmatically, and indeed before she attempted to write history. End quote. His critique went beyond mere factual disagreements. Adams felt that her perspective, especially her portrayal of his administration, lacked nuance and understanding. Some argue that Adams's harsh words were fueled by political tensions and a sense of personal betrayal, as the two had once been close allies. Others, however, view his response as a reflection of the challenges historians face in balancing personal experience with objective truth. Mercy had her own perspective, one that was invaluable then and remains so today for offering us insights into the era's ideals and internal conflicts. Mercy Otis Warren's legacy isn't just a footnote in history. It's a powerful example of how one woman's words can shape a nation. Her life and works challenge us to think independently and to stand up for our beliefs. In the spirit of her cousin's innovation, she too lifted the American cause. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of Mercy Otis Warren's life. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you think Mercy deserves even more recognition for her role in the Revolution.